Hello, and welcome to another episode of TDD as if you meant it. Today we will continue our exercise and we will try to extract a class, because in the previous exercises we extracted these functions. So I'll start Pomodoro and let's take it from here. We have these extracted methods: get game result, build board, get game message nobody won, get game message x1. The best technique to try to extract these is to try to make them static and to see which one makes sense to be part of the new class. This is a builder, so I wouldn't say it would belong with the rest, because this one is getting the game result and it is using these messages, that x1, so the first one, and that nobody wants, so the second method. So let's see if we'd make this static. We run the tests. So now I could try to move these static ones to a new class. So let's just give it a name, and probably this would be something like game result. It's complaining that this doesn't exist, so let's see what it does. Yes, I want to create it, and now it should move them outside. Let's run again the test, see if we're covered. Great. I'd like to make this public because it should be called from anywhere. This remains static because it's called only from the get game result method. So this remains private static, and the other one is public static. Now what I'd like to do is to try to remove these static things. So let me run again the tests, see everything goes well. And now in my initial class I would like to create a setup where I will instantiate the game result class, and I will try to get rid of the static. So public void setup. This is a before. I will make here a game result, and here I'll instantiate it. Okay. A thing I can do, because here everywhere it is used static, I can change this variable with a capital G, and this is a kind of a hack I'm using, because now here it uses this variable and not the class anymore. So now I can go back and rename it with game result, And while doing that, I can get rid of the static here everywhere. So let's see if this works. Great. So now I have a game result who is being used everywhere in my tests. So I extracted this class. Now another thing I can do is try to simplify this and see if we could go towards some simpler tests. Okay, but first let's do a commit. So extracted class game result, which contains the call to get game result. Okay, I would like my tests here to be very simple, and in the same time I'd like to get rid of this, let's say, production code. So I would like to make it clear that this production code is moved away from the test and it moved to this new class I created here. So in order to do that, typically what I do, I inline this, and these tests become like normal tests where you just call in the act the system under test because any test should have these three parts: range, act, assert, and this variable was just the game result variable, or just a way of showing you that I need to have production code written in the test with TDD as if you meant it. Okay, so now I inline this. Things look a bit simpler. So let's commit again. Oh. Inlined variables in the tests. Which variables? Variables that were used to call the production code. Okay. If I run the tests, everything is still good. Do I need this? Let's see. I prefer to have the least code possible, and I want to simplify these tests as much as possible because they are easier to read if you don't have them, all these things that are not really showing anything. Okay, let's make this private. And let's make another commit. Removed this from the game result variable, made instance private. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is to remove these things from the tests and move them away to some settings or some production code, depending on what I need. Here it's clear that I build a board with board size, board structure. I build a board with board size, board structure. So this is there's something here, and it's clear that I might need to extract this as well because it's duplicated 3 times. So I could move this away to a new class, but now I don't have enough proof. I don't feel that having only this one method is enough. So I try to apply the rule of 3 and see if I can extract more of these methods, and they should belong together in a way. So now I'm looking in the code here, and I'd like to see what should belong to this area of building. So it's clear here I build a structure, so I always build this structure, and here again I build structure. In the first test I don't need the structure because, well, it's just one by one, so it's not important. So I'd like to have this thing in a way duplicated in the first one, so that if the first test, so that I can see if I have the third item that repeats itself, so I have enough duplication to make sure I can extract it. Okay, so what if I do this here? It's always important to make duplication very clear, and in that moment you are able to extract it. Okay, so if I do this, I hope my tests will still pass. And while doing that, I'm sure I can extract this, which would be build board structure. But when I'm looking at this parameter, the parameters of this method, I can see that I have some space, some direction, column, token, vicinity, position. So probably it's not a good idea to extract only this, because some of the items from here are intrinsic, they belong to the board structure, and I'd like only to keep as parameters the things that I can give away to the board structure so that it could generate this structure. So if I look here a bit closer, it's clear that direction should be a parameter, but space shouldn't, for sure. And then column again, it shouldn't, because it's part of the structure of the thing. So if I'd like to extract this method, I would probably want to do something like this, but the parameters shouldn't be column and shouldn't be space. I have two other, yes, I want to extract them. Come on, you can do it. Okay, let me rename this build board structure. And I don't need these anymore. So as you can see, I have some duplication. I'm simplifying the tests. They become smaller. This is a sign that probably I'm going in a good direction. Okay, this is weird. Should have initialized these. Let's see how this works. Great. So now I can move this to the top, to the other, to where the other builder is. Great. So build board is here. Build board will receive a board structure. Okay. Just for safety, let me run again the test and then let's do a commit. Great. Extracted method build board structure. So what I could do inline this, and IDEA gives me this kind of nice way of telling me what is the name of the parameter. So it's nice in a way that I can get rid of these variables that I don't really need. And I'll keep the board one by one because probably that would need to be extracted as well. But in that case, we're just something empty, so I can just get rid of those. Okay. Here I have a board size, a board structure, and a board. Here I have again. Let's see if we can make like the duplication again identical: board size, board structure, and board. I have board structure, board size, board structure, and board. So it was okay. Let's see if it should work like that. Let me remove this. So now if I would extract this, now it doesn't work. So this is my purpose now. I'd like to extract this because it's clear that in the arrange I'll always have board size, board structure, and board size, board structure, and board size, board structure, and board. So it's clear that some things are going on here, and it's really identical code. It's just that some things here are different, like some parameters that I can pass through. So let's see how could we do this. How could we make this work? So it says there are multiple output values for the selected code: board size, board structure, and board. And so the problem is that I'd like only the board, in fact, but here when I say get game result, I do need the board structure, board size, and board. So it's not enough just to say build board. This shows me that, in fact, it's not enough just to extract this like that with primitives, with strings. And now it is the moment to try to introduce a new class, because I always have board structure, board size, and board, and I also have them here. So these three should belong together, and I should have an object passing a board object, let's say, that I pass to the get game result, and it should tell me what is that result. And now we have two options. When doing that extraction, I could try to extract it directly from here and keep these existing tests, and they will test my new board class indirectly. Or I could just go with usual TDD, try to create this class and see where and then just inject it here. So get out of TDD as if you meant it, and just continue with regular TDD and then get back after I will inject it. So we have these two options, and because there are two very different options, I will make 2 episodes that will show you the two ways of doing this, and you'll see the differences, and you'll see how one and the other works for you. I think the results of the two options are quite similar, but it's just a question of style and what you want to do. So let's see what we've done. We just moved a bit the order of some statements. So the only thing I've done, in fact, is made the duplication obvious in the tests by reordering the arrange. Okay, so I will stop now because we have these two options and I want them to be recorded in a special video for each one. So thank you for watching, and until next time, as always, have fun coding.